Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is my 1 week with the 2022 BMW 230i. This has been a lot of fun to drive over the last 7 days. Before we get this out on the road, let's just talk about this spec briefly. So it's priced right around $46,000. This one is finished off in Melbourne red with the beige interior. So it's more of a luxury spec with that color combo. However, this specific 230i has the handling and the dynamic package. So I'm going to talk about that later on in today's video. And then on the interior, it does have the digital gauge cluster, which I think is a must. We have the larger screen there, just a really nice layout. And for being a 4-seater, this is definitely a very fun two-door vehicle. So as we get the 2022 BMW 230i out on the road, like I said, this has been a very fun vehicle to drive over the last 7 days. And honestly, the first couple days that I had this, to me, it was kind of just a normal BMW. And with this being a two-door vehicle, I thought it was a little bit more kind of on the luxury side. You know, it's more of an entry-level BMW, but we still have a nice interior. We have this beige, all the brushed aluminum, the leather, even heated seats here. So it gives it that upscale look with that entry-level price point. However, the more that I drove this, and especially taking this to the mountains, definitely check out that video. When you get the right package for the 230i, we have the upgraded brakes, we have the M Sport differential, we have the M Sport suspension, even the variable steering here. So when you put it through the different driving modes, the steering actually gets tighter. When you have the 230i set up like this, it is honestly a lot of fun to drive. And talking to my brother about this, it's pretty equivalent to the 4-cylinder in the Toyota Supra. So if you want to kind of compare it to that, my brother's been able to drive that. I haven't really been around that car much, but he's going to make a video later comparing this to the Toyota Supra. If you want to think of it like that, this is kind of that entry-level sporty BMW, if that's what you're looking for, if that's in your price point. But I would highly recommend, if you want this to have the performance you're looking for, you definitely have to get the dynamic and the handling package. My brother drove a 230i with none of that. It didn't even have the digital gauge cluster, so it was even more on that base level for that even lower entry-level price point. But this here, this has been so much fun. I am still on 1 tank of gas. So for a 4-cylinder, this is very, very fuel efficient. I did the mountain drive with it, and I was pretty much giving it a lot of gas, going through those turns, on the brake, on the gas, and just been driving it for the other 6 days, pretty much every single day. I've done a lot of highway driving with it, and this is very, very fuel efficient. I think I've been averaging in the mid-30s. I haven't really been able to find that exactly, but I think it's been around 34, 35, give or take a little bit. And I'm pretty impressed with how far it's been able to drive. But for the 230i here, this is such a solid car. I love that we still have all of the BMW tech. The digital gauge cluster is a must, especially when I was on the mountain roads. And even right now, I can see the navigation, even though it's not pulled up in the center screen there, which I love. I was able to see what turns were coming up, so that way I could prepare myself for the brakes or the gas, just depending on the turn. So tech like that is definitely a must. And then as far as, let's talk about things that I don't like. So I've had a lot of seat time in this with 1 tank of gas, and there's only a few things that I really do not like about this interior. The first thing that I'll start off with is the volume control. Now, pretty much every BMW has the volume control here, along with all the presets. But what I found is when I'm using this rotary dial to go through the different radio stations, it would be nice to have the volume control just behind that rotary dial, so you can do both of them at the same time. I was driving around a lot. I had my water bottle, my phone, and some items right here, and my water bottle almost blocked the entire volume knob, so it was kind of a little awkward to get around there just to adjust the volume. Obviously, it's on the steering wheel here too, so if you don't want to go down there, you have the option to do that. So I kind of have to not really make that a big point, simply because you have 2 different ways to do it, which is great, of course. But this is blank back here, and I don't think that there's any options available for the 230i that would fill this blank area. And it almost looks like some switches could go there. Maybe if this was a convertible or something, you could put the top down, they could have the controls there. However, it's just blank. It's just some trim work. Something could be there. The volume control could definitely be there, since you use that pretty much all the time. And then my other complaint is very nitpicky. It's how you can sync the dual zone climate. So we do have dual zone. In order to sync it though, you have to go home. So click on home, you have to scroll down to car, and then you have to go into settings, and it's already like this because I've done it so often. you have to go into the climate controls, and then from there, you can sync the system. Now, is this a very big point? Probably not. The only way to keep them synced though is to control the driver's side temperature. As soon as you hit the passenger one, they unsync. So if you want to do it, you have to go back into the screen and do that. There's a lot of vehicles that have a sync button. Maybe again, that could be a button that's back here where you could quickly sync them. Very, very nitpicky, just something that I figured out. I know it was the same in my brother's Toyota Supra. And honestly, I think that is about it. Well, one more thing that I will say is the wireless charging pad down below is fantastic. I've used it for my phone. It charges it very, very quickly. So I'm super impressed with that. I'm not impressed with the fact that if you do have 2 water bottles in here and you need to get your phone, you have to remove one or both depending on how big your phone is in order to get it. Then if you're done with it, put it back. You can put the water bottle back. A little bit of an inconvenience. If you're driving this every single day like I was for the last week, it can kind of get a little bit annoying. If I'm in it by myself, I'll put mine over on the passenger side and I can quickly get to it if needed. It is super solid. It drives so smooth. Even with this M Sport suspension, you can feel the bumps here or there. So I'm not going to say it's the smoothest. It's not like a 7 Series where it feels like you're floating on a cloud. And then obviously with the M Sport suspension, you're buying it so that way you can have some fun with it in the mountains. And then I do have it in Sport Plus. And honestly, I'm impressed with how quick it gets up to speed. It's not a fast car, so obviously it's a 4-cylinder. You're not looking for straight line performance. But man, this in the back roads, in the mountain roads, the handling is top notch. You do have power to get out of the turns. On straight line performance though, that's not what this car is designed to do. But I really love the fact that if you're doing mountain trips, you're doing road trips like that, this is very, very nimble for those types of situations. And then on the Plus, you do get a lot more MPG. So if you want the best of both worlds, yes, you're going to sacrifice some power. If you're not looking for that next level, like the M240, again, this is a great platform if you don't need all of that horsepower and you just want a very nice luxury almost, two-door sports car. It has plenty of room. I've been moving in the last couple of weeks here, so I did have some items that I put in the back with the seats folded down, the trunk space, very adequate. You can put groceries back there. It's definitely a very nice, practical two-door vehicle. We do have the back seats. I could be back there around town if I wanted to be. However, you're not going to buy this for a full 4-seater. So if you're looking for that, you might want something a little bit bigger if you're looking for the two-door vehicle. This is a very solid entry-level BMW. It's super quiet too. There's hardly any road noise. You can hear the traffic, just very little bit here and there, but it's super solid. I've really enjoyed my time driving this. I guess I will say one other complaint, and maybe this really shouldn't be a complaint for the entry level, is we don't have adaptive cruise. There are a lot of other vehicles in this similar price point that do have adaptive cruise. I would like to see that incorporated into this model. We just have the normal cruise control, and then you do have your lane keeping assist, as well as a speed limit activator. Not really sure what you would use that for. I haven't really found a need for that. It basically just sets your top speed in a sense. But it would be nice to see adaptive cruise. We have the digital gauge cluster. Maybe that tech could be incorporated into that system. But as far as the fit and finish goes for everything else, I really like it. BMW across the board, whether you get carbon fiber for the interior or you have this gloss black and the brushed aluminum, they're all very nice, depending on your price point again and what options you'd like to get. And then real quick, I forgot to shut it off. So our top speed there was 20 miles an hour. So again, I don't see the point of that. But yeah, this is definitely fun. I do like the different driving modes that we have. I've been doing a lot of highway driving in eco mode to save on that MPG, and then popping it into sport mode when I want to go on those back roads like the mountain trip I did, or just have some fun with that. So I think that is a great option. And not only that, that's probably how I've gone through almost a whole tank with, I think, at least 400 miles. I've done something around there. So I really like that. The layout of everything else is super easy. I love the screen and the dial. And the interior amount of storage has been very adequate. I like the cup holder size too in the door panels. Been able to fit my water bottle there, so I guess that point about the wireless charger, you can move your water bottle or whatever item you have and get a little bit better access under that compartment there. But even in comfort mode, it handles these turns well. If you guys want to see all the other videos, I filmed 4 other reviews, the Mountain Drive and the full review if you want to see all of these specs, even the POV so you can get the angle behind the driver's seat here. Definitely check out all those videos. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for my 1-week review with the 2022 BMW 230i. Fantastic entry-level sports car. I'll call it a sports car if you get the right packages on it. It definitely has the handling characteristics. Not so much on the power side, but you can always tune it as needed if you'd like to. But overall, a really good daily driver. If you want some of that performance aspects, and then you want just a nice, comfortable, everyday vehicle, very practical too, and in that lower price range. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.